Workers from the 774 local government council area in the country gathered in Abuja to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employers to discuss the struggle towards the actualization of achieving local government autonomy. I am Sharon Ijason. Welcome to Labour Lens. The conversation continues in a moment. The organized labour movement has endorsed the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. At an interactive session between the three labour centres and Mr. Sanwo-Olu, the United Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress said their decision is based on the candidate's record when he served as the Commissioner for Pensions and Establishment. Babajide Sanwo-Olu pledged to pay 30,000 naira as minimum wage if elected.
The minimum wage, even as a commissioner, I was able to convince them to pay it. So if the buck stops with me as a commissioner, as the governor, and I'm a people person, and all my life I have served people, and I've served people, the least you will expect from me is that whatever that we have signed on to, that 30,000 we will pay it. We will, and I know where the conversation started from. I know the figure that it started from. But, you know, we cannot begin to shave one's head in his absence. We don't know the full financial position of the state as we speak because we are not there. But the minimum commitment we can give you is that that minimum wage, you will earn it. If we now get there and we look at our numbers and we can build a bigger cake, if we can build a bigger cake, then we'll have bigger knife to begin to look at the cake and we'll be able to cut the cake bigger and better.
When we are talking of welfareism in Lagos, when he was commissioner, he tried his possible best as a commissioner. He lobbied within the government. Now that he's going to be in charge, he's the first person to implement. Lagos happens to be the first state that implement 18,000 naira minimum wage we are talking about now, that is about to be elapsed. So this is the same person when he was commissioner because he has direct interaction with us. He has passion for us. We were not at the State Executive Council when he was lobbying for us. And he ensured that the thing has to scale through. And we are the first to receive in Lagos. And we believe in his ability that he can turn things around again.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, has said the union will resist the sale of the nation's refineries. The president of the union, Francis Olabode Johnson, during an interview spoke on the implications of this action, adding that the federal government should rather speed up the rehabilitation of the ailing refineries and return them to optimal production level.
Look at Ghana refineries. It was built in 1963. But today, if you go there, it's been maintained. And when this government came on board, they're also looking at, okay, what must we do to see how we can also do this? There are times in the past that refineries was given to Chrome Services to do maintenance. And the Chrome Services could not get the expertise required. They went to Romania to go and get Romanians to come and do it. And why is the refinery today? Kaduna Refinery, during the Abacha government, was given to Total. They decoupled it. Do it, couple it back. They couldn't. It is same NNPC staff. Quote me that they put it to use and it's working. The challenges of those refineries, apart from the issue of pipeline vandalization. And I also want to tell government that every effort that they are doing to also make sure the Niger Delta guys are also being taken care of to reduce restfulness and security of the pipeline. It's only in Nigeria that you see Nigerians breaking the pipelines and everything. And because of the poverty mentality and everything. And so these are things that have been done in the past, and this government is also doing, and every government must continue to look at that. These are things we need to address.
The Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, recently held its 40th anniversary celebration in Abuja. The event was well attended by NOLGE members from the 774 local government areas of the country. The theme of the anniversary celebration was tagged Local Government Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow, our struggle towards actualization of local government autonomy in Nigeria. It was deduced at the event that the local government is not allowed to function optimally.
Naturally, as a union, we have in the last 40 years been engaged in a long and sustained struggle for enduring improvement in the living and working condition of workers who live and work at the grassroots level of our society. Most of our workers live among the rural populace and hence among some of the most disadvantaged and vulnerable segment of our country. Oftentimes, our members bear the full brunt of the gross underdevelopment of our nation, marked by inadequate access to potable water, decent housing, quality education, healthcare, good roads, etc., etc. Despite the problems, effort made centrally at the national level to address the issues of underdevelopment at the grassroots level had been consistently subverted by some state government and their agents.
When a state or the people who run a state are not able to proceed,
Professor Toyi Olorede, while delivering a lecture, called local government workers' attention to the lack of interest of candidates seeking political offices in the third tier of government.
We insist that the task of rescuing the local governments from their current state has to be an integral part of the task of rescuing Nigeria and its people from class exploitation. The task of restoring the ownership of Nigeria to the working people. Solidarity at all levels of the movement, from the local to federal, of the labor movement, as opposed to the trade union movement, includes organized trade unions, farmers, traders, artisans, students, and the unemployed, and so on. And this integral response is going to be important for the restoration of the ownership of our country to our people.
From NOLGE, a round of applause for him.
Awards were given to 9 state governors and speakers who signed the local government autonomy bill into law in their states. The states are Benue, Kwara, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Plateau, Sokoto, Niger, Ogun, and Cross River. The council workers urged other state House of Assembly not to delay passage of the local government autonomy bill to enhance good governance and trickle-down development to the grassroots.
NOLGE, in the name of NOLGE, has been 40 years by birth today. But as you can see, while celebrating, we had a kind of sober reflection on our struggles for, let me say, for the past 2 decades now. And you can agree with us that if there's an agitation, then something is wrong with the system. And I can tell you from an informed position that today, NOLGE is celebrating her 40th anniversary, but of course, with some reflections on encumbrances that we as workers that are working in the grassroots come across in the local government, in operation of the local government system. And that is why you see even the central theme of this celebration is centered around autonomy, autonomy, and autonomy. Yesterday, the local government, the founding fathers founded the local government on a good note, on a good foundation. Today, the local government is not what we desired it to be, and that is why the agitation. The agitation is to make the local government a better place for the ones coming up tomorrow.
NOLGE generally at 40, there's a lot of improvement because in the olden days, we used to have what we call native authority. And we have moved from native authority to local government now. And administratively, there's an improvement. But just like we have mentioned, the major issue we have is the issue of autonomy. Because when local government picks up, you know, in 1990, 91, 92, and of course, early 80s. You know, the situation was better. It was better because council were assessing money of their own, and they were spending money the way they want to spend their own money. But the problem we have now is that where the whole local government is not completely autonomous, the House of Assembly make laws for the good runnings of the, you know, the local government does not work out well.
A child that is 40 years or a man of 40 years is no longer a child, because a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Local government councils, as we are saying, is now 40 years old. A lot has passed under the bridge. Yes, but unfortunately, if we compare the situation of things today to, you know, those days where our leaders conceived the idea of making local government a third-tier government, I think it's just a far cry in terms of you know, what the original the leaders that conceived the idea, you know, had in mind. What we are seeing today is not what they had in mind.
Long at 40, we have come so far, and there is a lot of development from when you talk of the local governments, from the pre-colonial to the colonial to the various administrations until the 1976 pronouncements, and what Nigeria local government is like right now. It has gone through a lot of development, and we'll say to a large extent that local government at 40 is matured, but we still need more, especially when we talk about the local government autonomy.
On the profile interview segment this week, I will be speaking with Honorable Abdullahi Gumel, the Chairman, Senate Committee on State and Local Government. He spoke convincingly on how the 8th Assembly plans to ensure that local government is financially free. Join me. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
A lot has been happening as regards the struggle to achieve a local government autonomy. As the Chairman, Senate Committee on State and Local Government, can you tell us what has been the challenge in ensuring that local government is autonomous?
Well, thank you very much for that question, and I will give you an insight. By the time this administration came into being in 2015, the administration of local government in most of the states are caretaker, which is illegal, because Section 8 of the Constitution is clearly stated that local government administration is hereby provided the elected councils, not caretaker. There is no caretaker in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So first thing we did, the Senate President was, as I told the audience, the President was very fashionable about local government administration, which he stated it clearly in his inaugural address at the beginning, that he will not be sitting down, allow the local government funds being spent anyhow by the state in the joint account of local government. So, and by that setting up of that particular agenda, the Senate, under the leadership of Senate President Bukola Saraki, constituted a committee give us the responsibility, state and local government administration was given to me as to be the chair. Then I get it running. I went and saw the president, and I reminded him. At that time, even his state, Katsina State, was under caretaker. My own state was under caretaker. But by that expression, the president told the governors, and one after the other, the governors conducted election into the various councils. And today, we are taking most of the councils. I don't think there is any council that is being run by a caretaker committee in this administration. So, a committee of constitutional review was inaugurated, and I happened to be one of the representatives representing my state in that constitutional review committee. So we set up a review of the local government administration, looking for autonomy of the local government. We interface with the NALGE, we interface with the state governments, and the federal government, of course. And thank God, a lot of membership of my committee is populated by former state governors, whom were two-term state governors, like Yarima from Dampara, like the governor from Goji from Gombe. They are all members of my committee. And they now see the wisdom that if we are to give the local governments, the grassroots people, dividend of democracy, we have to remove local government administration from the clutches of the state governments. I'm sorry, it may not sound nice to some governors, but this is the reality. If you want to take the government to the grassroots, so you have to free the local government administration and give them autonomy on their funds, you know, to be able to do their own, because the administration of local government is peculiar to each area. So each area they have their particular needs in terms of what their community wants. So in freeing the local government from the clutches of, even if you have a bigger project, you can get a cluster of local government and they can finance the project, even if it's the project area is much more than their local government or their local area. So they will collaborate within themselves and finance a project.
Okay, looking at the achievements you've actually highlighted here as regards ensuring that local governments across the country have an elected chairman and not a caretaker committee or a caretaker person handling the local government. Now that's an achievement. And now there's a struggle for local government to have financial autonomy or freedom. So far, going by your records, going by my research, I realized that you said at different forums that many state assemblies and state government are the one actually hindering the progress of ensuring that the process of local government autonomy is successful. Can you share your story as regards this?
Yes. What we come to realize that the constitutional review, we take all those what we wanted to review, we put them into various bills, so that we didn't put it in one bill. If you put it in one bill, if one something fails, that means you have lost everything. We put them in several bills. So the autonomy of local government administration is one bill. The evolution of joint account is another. And the conduct of the election into the council is another one by state electoral state independent electoral commission, so to say, where you have any administration in the state. If they conducted election, all the councillors and everything goes to that particular party that control that state. So it's not one party that is a culprit. Every state party that control the state government is a culprit to that.
So what's your message to those that have taken that step? What would you expect them to do moving forward? And what's your message to those that have not taken that bold step in ensuring that the local government works?
Like I say, it's a work in progress. That particular legislation didn't fail. We are still pursuing it at various levels of governance. The federal government, even the association of the governors forum, we are taking it at that level, and through the advocacy of the NALGE and the NLC and some other groups that are looking for that, and even the political parties, because that level of government, that tier of government, is very important to the grassroots. It's the most important one to people down the ladder, the grassroots. Because if the local governments are working, some of the people have no business going to the state and the federal government to look for work, to look for what to eat, you know.
Finally, minimum wage is one big issue. And for the local government workers, we still have many states that are not even receiving up to 18,000 naira as minimum wage. We still have many states that receive 6,000 naira as minimum wage. In your own capacity, is there anything that can be done to ensure that they are not short paid but are in tandem with what other states or other tier of government receive?
Well, I think we have to go back to the revenue mobilization so that we give more money to the state and local governments that can be able to pay their own workers. The bailout that the federal government has been given is just a one-off thing. And the Paris Club, it's not everyday thing. Sure. So we want to see a situation whereby if you develop some responsibilities of the federal government to the state and some of the responsibility from the state to the local government, then there should be commensurate funding. So as such, the revenue allocation formula should be reviewed so that It will take care permanently of the wage issues, both in the state and in the local governments. If you look at it, you don't have much of this wage issue in the federal government, but you have the challenges in the state and local government, and as such, the funds going to the state and local government are grossly inadequate. So the revenue allocation formula should be reviewed so that we can take care of those lacunas.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.